What's going on, YouTube? All right, based on the title of this video, you know this is not Nova related. So apologies for the loyal subscribers and watchers that are looking for some updates on the Nova. Those are coming. It'll be a few more weeks for those. Okay, so last month was my wife's birthday. She's always giving me grief that I never buy her enough flowers and roses and everything, and I thought I'd kind of kill two birds with one stone. I would make her a gift, and it would be a rose. I got the idea of this from somebody on Instagram. I saw them making it. I thought that's a pretty cool idea. Did a little bit of researching, found out there's people on YouTube that are making videos of this stuff, you know, different types of flowers made out of different materials and all that good jazz. And it gave me some ideas on how to do this. But I'm going to forewarn you, I'm not an artistic person, and this was my very first attempt at making something like this. And I thought it turned out really well, and my wife absolutely loves it, so I think I did a decent enough job. Not bad for pretty poor planning and very quick execution. So, I'm gonna apologize for the quality of the video, right? I was sneaking into the garage to try and get this stuff done so that this could be a surprise for my wife on her birthday. So I did this over a course of a couple different times, sneaking out in the garage. So I just ran into the garage, pointed the camera at where I was kind of working, and hit record. So I'm just going to talk over the rest of the footage. So the petal, or the rose itself, is made out of two different materials. It's a 3/16 rod and 22 gauge steel. That's pretty much it. Aside from some TIG filler wire to make the leaves, that's basically it. The petals, I started out there. There's 4 petals, 6 inches, 5 inches, 4 inches, and 3 inches. Right. Once they were cut out and rounded, I just drew, them into quarters, punched a hole in the center, and then used my tin snips to round out the edges, and then cut into each of the petals to form individual leaves. Right. I cut in all the way except to about a 1/4 inch from the center hole, right, for those of you who are wondering. Then I took my body hammer with a chisel flat head. I sharpened it a little bit so it kind of acted like a chisel. It was just very cumbersome to take a chisel and hammer and hammer on these things. It was just much quicker to sacrifice my body hammer in that regards, and I really don't use that head anyways. So I just created some striations in the leaves, and you can see here I'm kind of pointing them in various angles towards the outside edges to give it some character, and that's really all there is to it. Once I did that to all 4 petals, I took my chisel and a hammer to get this star shape, and this is the basic, I don't know what the name of this is, but it's the leafy section underneath the rose head itself. I just took the chisel to hammer on this and create an indentation so that when I went to form this leafy piece, that it kind of folded over this area naturally. I also took that same hammer and chiseled out the 2 leaves that I'll attach to the stem later. That portion attaching the stems was not caught on camera. That was just something I was doing off camera and completely forgot to record it. So once that was all done, I attached the petals to the stem itself. Some people will use a die and cut into this, create threads, and then attach it with a nut. I chose to weld it on. I didn't have nuts and the die that size, so I chose to weld it, and plus I like to weld. So either way will work. Once that was done, then I took out my MAPP gas torch and heated up each of the petals till they were cherry red, and then pulled up on them and formed them and got them to kind of bend into themselves, and then took a pair of needle nose pliers to fold out the very tips so that it looked very organic and very natural. But you do that to all 4 layers. This takes a few minutes to get it nice and hot. Be very careful, right? But you just form it and make it look as good as you can. And then they did the same thing for the leaves underneath it. Now, what I also did was on the stem, this was earlier in the footage, but I took a hammer and used it up against my vise and just kind of banged onto the stem to give it some character, make it look a little more natural, give it a little bit of twist in some areas as well. And then I basically took my MIG welder and welded little nubs onto the stem so that it actually, you know, mimics like the thorns that you cut off when you cut a rose, right? Well, that's pretty much it, guys. Now here's the close-up detail of it. You can see here how I folded over the top edges, right? Here's the little leafy section, I don't know what you want to call that, underneath it. Here is some close-ups of the petals that are attached here. If I was to redo this, I would make these more rounded, and I would probably fold these the opposite direction to give it a more natural look. But still, I don't think that looks too bad. And you guys let me know what you think about it in the comments, right? How do you think it looks? Not bad for $10 in materials, about 2 hours of my time. I probably could have gotten it done in an hour if I, you know, got a few of these under my belt. But not a bad gift. Again, tell me what you think, guys. Any questions or comments about it, drop them below. If this is the first time you're here, you know, do me a favor, throw a like if you like the content. Subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. Catch you guys later.